Hello everyone, my name is Melissa. My channel here is Melissa_Dunn6. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok by the same name. I just like to play with makeup, talk about makeup and beauty. So if any of that interests you, feel free to stick around. I would really appreciate it if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, leave me some comments. I'd love to get to know you a lot better. So you know, like that SpongeBob sound that's like 2,000 years later. That's how I felt getting my Pat McGrath bronzer. So I actually pre-ordered it on March 30th. But what happened was, and I didn't find out till April 13th after I saw everyone getting their packages, the lip bundle was back ordered. So I got my package a bit later than everyone else, which is fine. I've heard Pat McGrath shipping is probably like the biggest complaint people have of the company. I have never had the issue with the company. I live in New Jersey where she ships from, but this time around I did have that issue. But again, it's not the end of the world. So today I'm just going to be sharing what I picked up in that order and just doing a full face of Pat McGrath products. For the bronzer, I picked up the shade Nude Honey, which is the second shade, I believe. I picked this one up because it's described as having a neutral undertone, which is what I would prefer for my skin tone. And I definitely agree that it is more neutral. It definitely looks lighter in the packaging than it swatches. So I would say probably go in with a light hand when applying these bronzers. With the bronzer, she also released like a smaller Divine Bronze collection. I didn't pick up the eyeshadow quad because I own majority of the motherships. And I have, what is this called? I have the Bronze Seduction, which I feel like, I don't know if they're the same exact shades, but you definitely can get the same vibes with this palette, or probably one of her other palettes if we're being honest. Right, it's like just browns and golds. So I'll be using this in today's look. I also picked up the new blush that she released. This is in Divine Rose 3. I really enjoy her blushes. So that's that there. I'd say that's like a pinky peach. It's a matte. But I really do enjoy her blushes. They're very buildable and they just look very nice on the skin, not super powdery. And in this order, the last items I picked up, which delayed my order, was the lip bundle that brings a gloss, lip liner, and lipstick in the shade Nude Venus. So I'm going to start with eyes. I already primed my lids and did my brows. She doesn't have products for that yet, so I had to use other brands. But like I said, I'm going in with the Bronze Seduction palette. So I'm first going to go in with the shade Disobedient and just apply, like, basically smoke that along the upper lash line. Her shadows are super pigmented, so if it's like your first time using them or you've never used them before, just be wary of that. Sometimes they appear lighter in the pan than they do on the eye. I'm now going to take the shade Entrapment with like a fluffy blending brush and just run that along that first shade and diffuse it into the crease and a little bit above that. Next, going to take the shade Bronze Blaze and just apply that like in the center of the lid with my finger. You see how her shades barely have any fallout though. The glitters do, I won't lie. So definitely use like a glitter glue if you want to avoid that. And towards like the inner corner front of the lid, I'm going to take the shade Astro Luna Gold. I'm actually going to use one of these. If you ever get these in like cheap eyeshadow palettes, keep them because they work well with like glitters or foily shades and they're smaller than your finger. Next, I'm going in with the foundation, which is the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation. I have mine in the shade Light 5. Initially, I didn't know how to feel about this foundation. It's super liquidy, like super liquidy. But the more I played with it, the more I've sort of learned how to use it. I do prefer applying it first with my hands and then I'll go over it with a sponge. But you definitely don't want to use a lot of this foundation. I feel like if you use too much, it starts to, like, you can see it more on the skin and it starts to look cakey around like my nose and stuff. So the key to this one is making sure your skin is exfoliated and moisturized, because it's not like a dewy foundation. It's one of those foundations where it'll perform depending on what you put underneath it. So making sure you are well moisturized, and again, just applying it in light layers. You don't want to cake this on. If not, it's not gonna look its best. Next, I'm going to go in with the concealer. I initially had the shade L4, but this one is very like peachy. So I'll use that to first like conceal under the eye, and then I'll go in with the shade L2 just to brighten up the face a bit. I do enjoy the concealer a little bit more than I do the foundation. It blends out beautifully, wears beautifully, and it has just a bit more coverage. The foundation's nice, but it's not like one of my all-time favorites. While I blend this out, do any of you guys watch Love is Blind? I normally don't watch shows like that, but I had nothing else to watch, so I watched this season. Oh my god. Like, first of all, I don't know if it's like the skeptic in me, but like them saying like I love you and crying, and I understand it's the experiment is like you fall in love with a person, not like how they look or whatever, but like they're like, oh, I love you after just a few weeks of talking to each other. I don't know, that's weird to me. And then the couples this season were weird. Like, the only ones that were like okay were like Brett and Vanessa, I believe her name is, but everyone else was a hot ass mess. Now I'm going to take the L2 shade and just like basically highlight. I'm next going to go in with the blurring under eye powder. And I'm just going to use this to set my whole face. She does have another setting powder, but she's a beautiful powder that works just fine for all over the face. Especially if you like to like leave your foundation looking like more luminous and natural. And finally, the product I've been waiting weeks for, the bronzer. Very pigmented, but blends out beautifully. And that is the bronzer. I must say, I really love it. It looks very smooth. I really enjoy the tone. It's not too warm. It's a little bit warmer than the nuclear stating, but I think it looks good on my complexion. Next, I'm going in with the highlighter, Lunar Allure. I know this is not everyone's favorite, but I enjoyed the highlighter on the nose. Let me know if that's something you still do too. Next, I'm going in with the blush in Divine Rose 3. Next, I'm going in with the lips. First, I'm going to start with the lip liner in Nude Venus. Then going in with the lipstick in that same shade. I'm just going to take my finger and run it along the edges to diffuse the two colors together. The way I do my makeup, I always start with my eyes, do my face, and then go back to the eyes. So I'm just going to take that first brown shade and run it along the crease again, because when you apply your foundation, it does sometimes take away. I'm just going to take that same shade and run it along the lower lash line. In the inner corner, I'm going to be applying the shade Skin Show, what's it called? Divine Glow. And also right below the brow bone. And just to try to use as many shades as I can, I'm going to take the VR Opal Fire, or sorry, the Fire Opal shade, and just pop a little bit of that in the center of the lid. I'm going to apply my lashes and mascara and try to get this foundation out of my hair. And I'll be right back. Okay, and this is the final look. If you've never tried Pat McGrath's eyeshadow palettes, I say splurge at least on one palette if you can. I don't really purchase like the quads or the smaller ones, but the motherships I love. I'm only missing two from my collection, but eventually I will probably pick this up as well. But they're just like very high quality, great performing eyeshadows. My overall thoughts on the Divine Bronze collection. Did I need this bronzer? No. I have other bronzers in my collection that do the same thing, right? Do I regret purchasing it? No. I enjoy her formula. It's very reminiscent to the blushes where it doesn't pick up too much product, so you're able to like build it up. It's very smooth on the skin, not patchy, good pigmentation. And I do really enjoy the undertone of this one because I am like neutral but very fair. A lot of bronzers can look very orange or sometimes red, and this one does not pull either way on me. So it's definitely true that it does have a neutral undertone, which I appreciate. As for the rest of the collection, like I said, I didn't pick up the quad because I have the Mothership palette. But if you don't have the Mothership palette, that may be a nice like neutral quad to add to your collection. The lip products, while they took forever to arrive, I don't regret it. These are shades I'm attracted to, so like a peachy nude. And I love her lip liners and her lipsticks and her lip glosses. They're some of my favorite lip products. The blush, again, she makes one of my favorite blush formulas. I own almost all of the colors, but I didn't have anything that was like a peachy pink, so it's nice that she added this sort of shade in her collection. Okay, and those are essentially my thoughts on the new Divine Bronze collection from Pat McGrath. Do you need it? Probably not. If you have the money for it and you like Pat McGrath, I don't think you would regret it. Again, beautiful formulas, very high quality. Packaging is very luxe. Even the mirror and in the packaging are very high quality. So, yeah. Thank you again to anyone taking the time to watch and support my videos. If you're not already subscribed, maybe you'd like to subscribe, up to you. But I'd like to get to know you a lot more. So if you like makeup and you like beauty, like please leave me some comments down below. Did you pick up anything from this collection? What are your thoughts on the collection? What are your thoughts on Love is Blind? Let's talk about that too. But anyways, I will try to leave all the products I used today listed down below. If there's an asterisk, it was an affiliate link, meaning I'd make commission off of that link. If that makes you uncomfortable, you can just shop through the retailer directly. Hope you all have a great day. Take care.